You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account. From Apple to VIX and everything in between, if it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report. And now, get ready to scan the tape for the most explosive options activity on the street. It's time for the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody. That music means we are back. It is Tuesday, July 29th. Time for a little bit of Hot Options Report action coming at you a little bit later today. Couldn't be helped. A lot going on behind the scenes, but better late than never on the Hot Options front. Now, if you're listening to this show, chances are that you're pretty serious about options trading. So let me put something on your radar. Public. It's the most cost-effective way to trade options. That's because Public is the only platform that gives you rebates on your options trades. They also have some of the industry's lowest index options fees, whether you're placing single leg or complex multi-leg trades. Every dollar counts. Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Again, the Hot Options Report brought to you by Public. Full disclosures in the podcast description. All right, let's get down to business with a little bit of vol action. Was it a spicy day out there in vol land? You might be forgiven for thinking yes. After all, we did get a rare dose of green on the screen today. Most of the major indices selling off around a third to close to 0.5% out there. And VIX Cash actually gaining a point back, closing right near the 16 handle. So you might be forgiven for expecting a little bit more action out there in VIX today. And that's exactly what you got. After all, red on the screen, green on the VIX screen usually translates into a little bit of paper. Over 1 million, 1.01 million contracts on the tape today in VIX. That is a decently active day, especially when you consider the seasonality, the time of year. Not usually a hot time for VIX options. So putting up 1 million contracts end of July heading into August is impressive. What was the hot option out there in VIX land today? May not be what you think. Maybe VIX is popping, market selling off. You might expect a little bit of call action. Nope. It was 140,000 almost exactly of the September 15 half puts. Wild. That was all opening too. So opening paper, 15 half puts. Looks like the average price was close to 30 cents. 15 half. Now you're going out to September. You're buying yourself some duration out there. You like those? Is that perhaps a little bit too rich for your blood? Can we blow through a 15 half strike by September? That's interesting. It's almost too much duration. We always know end of summer, usually pretty quiet. Then you start getting out into September, things get a little bit juicier out there on the vol front. So interesting. 15 half puts, 30 cents. I'm curious. You intrigued by those? Hit us up. Let us know. As we keep on rolling out to SPY listeners. SPY also looking decently active, not quite as explosive as VIX, though, on the volume front. The ADV around 7.75 million, close to 7.5 million contracts going up in SPY today, about 7.4 million. So not quite hitting its ADV, but right in line. The hot option in SPY today, 525,000 of these 636 calls. And unfortunately, you know what I'm going to say here. SPY going out right around 635 and a quarter. So if you paid anything for those today, and you rode them into the close. Unfortunately, not a great day for you. Let's go on out to the S. Was it a hot day in the S? The answer is yes, a little over 4 million, 4.04 million contracts to be precise. So unlike SPY managing to meet and then exceed its ADV, which is right around 3.6 million, the hot option in the S today, 168,000 of the 6370 puts. And surprise, surprise, we went out a little bit north of the 6370 strike. So unfortunately, once again, you paid anything for those and rode them into the close. Not a great day. If you're on the flip side, though, if you sold them for literally anything and you rode them into the close, you got a bit of a happy face out there today. Let's play a little bit of glass half full, shall we? Let's go out to small caps. Was it a hot day in small caps? The answer was decent, 1.15 million contracts. The ADV, though, 1.35 million, so not quite getting there today. What was the hot option in IWM today? It was the 224 calls, again, expiring today, going up 55,000 times out there today. Small caps going out a little bit north of 222, about 222 and 2/3. So 224, unfortunately, not going to get it done out there today. Let's keep rolling out to the Qs. Was it a hot day in the Qs? The answer was yes. The ADV is 3.6 million, putting up a million extra contracts on top of that, 4.6 million. So kind of a wild day. Explosive volume in the Qs, explosive volume in VIX. SPY coming in kind of light, and the S beating its ADV, and small caps coming in kind of light. So very much a different day depending on where you're hanging your hat from a trading perspective. What was the hot option in the Qs today? 302,000 of the 568 calls. You know the deal. SPY going out right around 567 and a quarter. So unfortunately, if you paid anything for those bad boys and rode them into the close, not exactly a winner chicken dinner. Was it a winner on the single name equity option front? Let's find out, listeners. It was a decently active day, but nothing explosive. 427,000 contracts is all it cost you to break into the top 10 today. That gets you to our old pal Palantir. Palantir, all the way down to number 10. You know, some interesting things are cooking maybe at the top of our list if Palantir pushed all the way down to number 10. What was the hot option in Palantir today? It was 31,000 of the 160 calls going out on Friday. Palantir going out a little bit north of 156 today, so it's got a ways to go to threaten that 160 strike by the end of the week. Let's keep going out to good old Alphabet Class A, 516,000 contracts on the tape for the number 9 spot. What was the hot option in Alphabet today? 56,000 of the 195 calls. Those are looking decent. Alphabet going out 195 3/4 today. Let's keep rolling out to Apple. Apple, 592,000 contracts for the number 8 spot. The hot option in Apple today, 27,000 of the 215 calls. Those are looking a little optimistic right now. Apple going out right around 211 1/4. So it's got some work to do to get there by the end of the week. Speaking of doing work, let's go out to number 7. It's our old pal Open. Just all over the place over the last couple of weeks in terms of options volume. Coming in today, number 7, 653,000 contracts. Another day looks like Open giving up some of the ghost down to 205 today after kissing $5 not too long ago. The hot option in Open today looks like some folks, though, are keeping up the action, or maybe they're bailing, getting the heck out of Dodge out there. 51, almost 52,000 of the AUG 3 calls expiring at the end of this week, the August 1st, 3 calls. So $3 does seem like a bit of a distant memory, at least for right now. So hopefully some folks are getting what they can out of these. Looks like they're going up for an average price of around 4 to 5 cents. So some folks may be giving up the ghost, deciding to take their nickel and get the heck out of Dodge. But it is Open. Could do anything at the end of the day. So we'll find out later on this week if we're going to threaten that 3 strike as we keep on rolling to number 6. SMCI, 692,000 contracts on the tape. What was the hot option in SMCI today? It was the traditional monthly, going all the way out to monthly expiration. We don't see that too often in our top 10. It was the AUG 45 calls going up 53,000 times today. 45, an interesting choice because stock going out today, SMCI, $58.63. So interesting out there for SMCI. Fairly in the money calls, $13.63 in the money calls going up out there today for an average price of around $14.60. So intriguing stuff in SMCI. Let's keep on rolling. Speaking of intriguing, number 5, listeners, a newcomer to our top 10, at least for this week. It has been in there before, but it's been a little while. This is United Health, ticker symbol UNH. Some dire headlines, of course, coming out of them over the past year. And looks like they are continuing that trend today, selling off 21 handles, about 7.5%, closing right around 261. Obviously, earnings, no bueno out there for United Health. You know, it's earnings season where we see some of these oddball names sneaking into the top 10 in the options market. By the way, UNH coming in number 5, 761,000 contracts on the tape. Speaking of oddball, there is some wild paper going up out there in UNH today. If you have some time, listeners, you owe it to yourself. Pull it up on your favorite analytics or brokerage platform and dig into it a little bit yourself. When you see the hot option out here, you probably have a sense of what I'm talking about. The hot option in UNH today, again, doing over 750,000 contracts today. And the hot option in United Health are the Jan 2027, not even this Jan, going all the way out to 2027, 500 calls going up 28,000 times. Yes, I said that correctly. 28,000 of the Jan 2027, 500 calls. Yes, your ears don't need to be cleaned out. You heard that correctly. UNH going out 261 today and change. And we had nearly 30,000 of the pars, not the 300s, not the 400, but the 500 calls in Jan of 2027 going up. If you're wondering what is an option that far out of the money and that far out in time go for, close to $7.50, right around 742 was the average price out there. Wild, absolutely wild stuff. I had a chance to do a little bit of digging right before the show. We had the June par, the June 500s trading today, 732 times out there. So we have wild stuff going up on the 500 strike out there in UNH, listeners. So definitely, if you have some time today, dig into it a little bit because it's some wild paper. As we keep on rolling to the number 4 spot today, listeners, it's our old pal SoFi. Looking pretty hot post earnings here as well, at least from an options volume perspective. SoFi putting up over 1.41 million contracts out there for SoFi. Popping a little bit today, closing at 2240, up about 6.5%. So a nice little post earnings pop for them. SoFi, the hot option, 109,000 of the August expiring this Friday, 25 calls. And again, going out at 2240. They got a little ways to go to get to 25, but maybe they can hit it. They could continue this momentum they had today. A hot day for SoFi. Was it a hot day for number 3? When you hear what number 3 is, it may surprise you. Yes, Tesla. After wearing the crown, dominating our list for the last few sessions, fallen all the way to number 3. What could kick Tesla to the curb? Well, stay tuned to find out. Tesla, number 3, right under 1.5 million, 1.49 million contracts on the tape for Tesla. Tesla giving some back today after rallying north of the 300 strike for the last few sessions. Tesla closing today 321.20, off a little over almost 1.5%. The hot option out there in Tesla today, though, 89,000 of the 330 calls expiring this Friday. Again, giving up the ghost a little bit today. That is all opening paper, by the way, today. So some folks clearly have a little bit of an axe to grind on the 330 strike. Like the average price was around 280. What do you think, listeners? Would you rather be sellers at $2.80, or are you feeling a little bit of optimism they can blow through 330 by the end of the week? Stay tuned to the hot options report to find out as we keep on rolling. What could possibly be number 2? And then what took the top spot today? Obviously, 2 names managed to eclipse Tesla today. What are they? Number 2, listeners. Haven't seen this one this high up in a while. It's been hitting number 3 recently, and it's usually in our top 5 of late, but today coming in at number 2, it's good old AMD, what the cool kids call AMD. 1.7 million contracts on the tape for AMD. They're continuing this upside we're seeing in the chip names right now. AMD going out again, 177, almost 177.5, up a little over 2, about 2.2% today. What was the hot option out there in a hot day in AMD? 190,000 of the 180 calls expiring this Friday. Definitely hot stuff. What's hotter than that? You can probably guess by now what took the number 1 spot again today. Regained its throne, recaptured its magic. and it's lost luster from Tesla and kept AMD at bay. Yes, it was Nvidia. 2.64 million contracts on the tape. The hot option in Nvidia today, 380,000 of the 180 calls. That sounds like a wild strike. Closed a little bit north of 175.5 today. So can we get there by the end of the week? Guess you got to stay tuned to find out, listeners. And that's going to do it for the hot options report for Tuesday, July 29th. Hope you're having a good trading week out there. Stay tuned if you're listening live. Got a fun little surprise bonus for all of our pro members out there. If you want to check out all of our pro content for yourselves, only place to get it, pro Q&As, the options oddities, where we get into a lot of unusual activity. If you like this show, you will love the options oddities. Giveaways coming up at the end of the month here. The July Pro Trading Crate will be going out the door soon to one of our lucky pro members. Will it be you? The optionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go to get your name in the hat. And then we're back here again tomorrow, another episode of the Hot Options Report. Stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.